At one stage of my life, I was very ego-driven. I wanted to be as big and strong as possible, so people wouldn't mess with me. I got a job working the doors. I studied all these different martial arts. I want to be the sort of guy that people wouldn't want to mess with. And I looked to my partner Gemma, and I could see how kind and compassionate and caring she was, and I really admired her for this. And more I thought to myself that I want to change. I don't want to be this person. One day I was on the back of a bus sitting there, and a guy came on, and he just glared at me from the front of the bus. He glared straight at me. I just held his gaze for a few seconds. I just thought, whatever's going on here. And then he muttered a few words and stuck his finger up at me, and he walked upstairs. And I thought to myself, oh, you lucky guy, like if this had been, not so long ago, I would be following you, waiting for you to get off, and I would have hurt the guy, no doubt about it. And as fate had it, he actually got off behind me. And I was trying to change, and I thought to myself, right, I'm just going to ask nicely, what's going on. I thought maybe he thought I was staring at him first, and I thought, let's try and resolve this nicely. But, years of programming, and, I just got nose to nose with him and said, have you got something to say to me? And the guy was genuinely terrified. He started telling me this crazy story that his little girl had told him there was a guy sitting at the back of the bus with a leather jacket on, and that was his friend. And he said that he suffered from diabetes and his eyesight was failing, and he mistook me, he took his girl's word for it. And so I was thinking to myself, yeah, whatever. But I thought, I felt sorry for the guy. He was, he was terrified, and I thought, I don't want to be this person. And so I said, forget it. Just as the bus went off, there was a guy sitting on the other side at the back with a leather jacket on, waving at the man. And I feel that was a lesson for me that, wait a minute, maybe in the past, I was never considered myself a bully, but I'd always stand up for myself, and if someone was rude, I would have to kind of do something about it. And I thought, well, how many times have I got that wrong? Then one day I was watching YouTube videos, and I saw two videos back to back. I've always had two great loves in my life, apart from Gemma. One being martial arts and the other bodybuilding. And these two videos were by my top heroes from each sport. So Dorian Yates, bodybuilder, he said that when he finished competing, he travelled to Peru and he drank the plant medicine ayahuasca, the tea, which shamans say is like a direct link to spirit world. Your consciousness goes off into spirit, and you have amazing life lessons and realizations. And he said he basically spoke to what people would call God. He calls it his higher self. Anyway, I won't digress too much. But he basically got told that the only problem in the world is ego. And I thought to myself, yeah, when young men come into a room, they'll think, oh, am I tougher than that guy? Could I beat him in a fight? And they want the flashy cars, etc., etc. They want to earn all this money so they can get women, basically, I think. And when women come into a room, they'll typically look around and think, oh, am I prettier than her? You'll get this bitchiness, and I think all the problems in the world, wars, everything comes down to greed, and an ego. The other video by my hero of martial arts, Geoff Thompson, was saying how he'd studied all the religious texts, done a lot of meditation about it, and he's come to the conclusion that the ultimate aim of all these religions was selfless service, which again to me is a lack of ego, wanting to do good for others for the sake of being kind. Around this time I discovered veganism, initially for health reasons, and then whilst researching recipes and things online, I came across, accidentally I saw images of what animals have to go through, the fear and agony, just to please our palates for a few seconds. So it's kind of like, you know, you've got to die because like, oh, that tastes nice. So for our enjoyment, another being's life has to cease, and I couldn't have a part of that anymore, and it sickened me to the core. I felt so ashamed for the past. And then I started to think, right, if I'm not going to harm animals, humans are also animals, and why would I want to be unkind to them? And I thought to myself, right, in future, I'm just going to try to not get into confrontations, and if I do, I'm going to try and talk them down, not get angry. And then that was, so I think it kind of what I would call it a spiritual awakening. Rather than coming from my ego, I was thinking of the greater good and to do a kindness. While on a holiday with Gemma's family, one of her uncles took me to one side and he said to me, Paul, I'm going to have to tell you something now and you're going to think I'm crazy. And he proceeded to tell me how he'd received information from spirit, which I've later found out is called channeling, when a higher spirit contacts like a lower form. And he learned that we're spirits in human form, and I believe other spirits are just in animal form, so we're all the same. And we're on a journey, we're here for a time to learn, to have experience and to grow, expand our consciousness. And then to go back for a time, and then, you know, we're just here and back again for this experience. And he said, but while we're here, we each have a purpose. I've since heard it called a preconception contract. So, and he said to me, I learned that my purpose was as a guide. So every now and again I get information from spirit, tell that person they're here for X reason, you know, to help them along. And he said to me, you already know your purpose. And I thought, yeah, you're right. The reason he said that, I discovered that all the animal products seem to give us all the terrible diseases we suffer and die from in the West. You know, he wasn't in like the greatest of health, like he, you know, weight was an issue. And so every time I saw someone who was unwell or overweight or unhappy, just so many things, nutrition is really key. Like kind of 90% of the time I would say like that's where people are going on. So I'd always have to tell people, well, you know, eat more fruit and veg, eat less, or, you know, preferably eliminate animal products. And that always brought me my happiness and gives me energy. And I hear from spiritual people that if you follow your life joy, basically you live in your life purpose, and that brings you the greatest happiness. So I knew he was right. Towards the end of 2014, Gem and my partner and myself had both had this spiritual awakening, and Gemma could no longer do the job she was doing. It wasn't in line with her beliefs, it wasn't bringing her joy. We believe at the moment she's meant to feed people with nutritious food. That's what makes her kind of truly happy. So she had to give up a really high paying job, you know, just for her own sanity. It was just before Christmas. We bought everyone presents, and just for the first time since I'd been personal training people, it just got really quiet. And I thought, oh no, like I actually need now to be proactive, do some advertising, marketing, get myself out there. We had no money. Incidentally, at the same time, my phone also got stolen. So things are looking really bad, you know, really, really bad. For my birthday, just previously, one of my good friends had bought me a pack of oracle cards, kind of like tarot cards. These particular ones are spirit animal guides. And I've been toying for ages with the idea, do I advertise myself as a mainstream PT, basically following my head, thinking like there's not many vegans about, you know, maybe I'll just market myself mainstream, or do I follow my heart and advertise as a vegan PT, you know, risk like limiting my income, but really that's where I wanted to go. I didn't want to make kind of huge monsters anymore, you know, bodybuilding wise with my PT training. I wanted to make people healthy and well and happy and, you know, reverse and prevent disease. And I'd been toying with this idea back and forth for months, and came to the crunch. I had to make a decision. So I asked these oracle cards just for the hell of it. I thought, why not, and just see what happens. And out of 44 totally different cards, all different kinds of messages on there, I pulled out this one card, the rattlesnake. So that card was basically written for me. From there I knew, right, let's just do it. Obviously with no money, I thought to myself, oh, I need a website, I need a graphic design artist to do my logo and etc, you know, all my marketing. I've not even got a phone. If I get any clients phone up and want training, I don't have a phone. By the same time, the next evening, all those things came to me. They all just happened. I've later found out that's called, it's referred to as synchronicities. When you're in line with your life purpose, everything falls into place and it becomes very, very easy. And pretty much daily, the universe keeps telling me, yep, Paul, you're doing the right thing. So this was the most crazy instance of synchronicities. A friend came up to me in the gym, he put his arm around me and he said, Paul, come with me. This website you've been talking about for months, let's go and have a look at it. So he took me to his office and I looked at all these different designs and he said, I'll pick which one you like, and he just sent this email and he said to me, normally this would cost you about £100, but this guy owes me a favour and it's yours. So I had a website. Gemma phoned up one of her friends to sort out about doing a logo for my Hench Herbivore business. And she said, oh, if it's for the animals, it's free. She just happened to be an animal rights activist. So, you know, again, she's like myself, trying to pay it forwards, do kindness to others. And just one of my other clients, I happened to mention on Facebook, my phone's been stolen, so don't, you know, try and ring me, contact me on here. One of my lovely clients just came in the next day with an iPhone in her hand and said, oh, this is my emergency phone. I just heard, like, obviously this is the emergency, this is yours for as long as you need it. And so the universe provided. So through my vegan PT business, clients have reversed type 2 diabetes, arthritis. One of my clients had a terribly damaged liver from 30 years of having a liver disease. All the damage is now reversed. He's totally like regenerated his liver. And he basically saw how powerful this food is. And now he wants to invest into myself, into Gemma. And we're starting up a business called Hungry Herbivores, and basically living Gemma's purpose of bringing nutritious food, you know, and healing people in that way. Again, as I say, these synchronicities are pretty much daily. They don't even surprise me anymore. I'm kind of surprised if they don't happen. And so the latest one with Gemma, she needed brown rice flour and polenta to make these, you know, the food. And she came to the gym to drop off some food there, and it just so happens one of our friends has finished his Whole Foods business, and he had some old stock which he'd left at the gym, and he said, you know, anyone wants to help themselves, most of this is out of date, but you know, anything you want, you can have it. And so Gemma had a little rummage through, and guess what the two things were that were in date that were there. I've got them here actually. So there's the organic polenta, there's the brown rice flour. You can say, yeah, you know, coincidence, but eventually it gets a bit retarded and it's a bit more ridiculous to think, yeah, these things are just coincidences. I know a lot of people will think I'm crazy doing this video. I really don't care. I'm not coming from a place of ego anymore. So, you know, the whole tough man thing, I've learned that really all your decisions are born out of fear or love. The great spiritual teachers say they're the two kind of opposites. And so yeah, I wanted to be a big tough guy so people didn't mess with me just out of fear. Now I know I can look after myself, and I don't want to be that guy. I just want to do kindness. So I want to show this to the world, that life can be amazing if you're positive, focus on what you want, driven, follow your joy. Look up the law of attraction. We can basically manifest anything into our life. But the people, all the naysayers, always the negative people who are always down, have you noticed how nothing good ever happens to them? So yeah, that's why I'm doing this video. We're conditioned kind of since birth to believe that this material world is all there is. If we can't see it or touch it, we kind of are told, oh, you're being daft. Like, if someone says, oh, I saw a ghost, or etc. But I can tell you, ghosts are real. When I was a young child, I was in bed one night, and there was a deep man's voice telling me that in the morning my beaker of water was not going to be next to my bed. And all I can really remember from the whole thing was I was saying, you're stupid, over and over. In the morning I'd forgotten about it. I was in the living room kind of playing, and my mum shouted through, Paul, why have you put your beaker under your pillow? I was that young that I didn't have the wherewithal to explain myself. I just kept saying it wasn't me. Obviously my mum didn't believe me, and I was crying my eyes out because of that. And I think that's the only reason that this is stuck in my mind. And I wonder, were there other times that, similar encounters? You hear that children can, see ghosts and things more and communicate with them. I've been learning about the pineal gland. So it's a little pine cone shaped gland, tiny little thing in your brain, and people refer to it as your spiritual antenna, so that you can receive information and see things from spirit. And my understanding is that terrible nutrition, fluoride in a water supply, it calcifies the pineal gland, and obviously it then stops working. So I think that probably this is what's happening. And since my change to veganism, and since at the same time we bought a water filter to take out the fluoride, and wow, it's just like I've been hit in the face with veganism, with spirituality. The same for my partner Gemma, and yeah, it's all there. And I believe the powers that be, the monetary elite, that, believe it or not, like, they really control the world. They make you believe that we need to eat animal, we need all these drugs to make us well. The biggest, the best hypnotist in the world is that rectangle in the corner of your room, your television, spewing out all these lies. And there's a better way, and so I want everyone to have a look and consider making a change. So the latest crazy synchronicity, the universe has sought to put Mr. Universe, the top bodybuilder of the NABA Federation, on the sofa opposite me in my gym, so we could speak about veganism. Now I think Barney is a lovely guy, and I think he would have definitely found veganism in his own time, but he says kind of I was a catalyst for him switching to veganism now. And I'm about as busy as I can be with my PT, and I'm not money driven, and I'm just trying to bring this message to the world. So I've got my YouTube channel, and I'm thinking, right, I want to grow it quick, I want to spread the message. And now with Barney on board, all the kind of meathead bodybuilders and powerlifters and saying, oh, you can't build muscle without meat, blah de blah, look at our amazing canines. Yeah, now I can point at Barney and I can say, well, are you Mr. Universe? So you see that the universe really does provide if you believe in it and you're positive, and just go for it, people.